Good afternoon, guys and gals. This is Brad Varnell with Infinite Crypto, and today I am excited to have a special guest on the show. This young man is 23 years old. He's part of our military, gone through college, and he is an incredible cryptocurrency investor. He really sees the vision for the long term, and he's passionate about helping people create financial freedom in their lives. He has his own crypto channel, he has his own cryptocurrency, and it's a pleasure of mine and an honor to have him on the show today. So everybody welcome Joshua Hudson from Dingle Crypto, excuse me. Hi, buddy. How you doing?
Good. How are you? Thanks, Brad, for having me on. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be on this right now. I'm extremely excited and to just talk to you about what I'm extremely passionate about is just DeFi and the opportunities within cryptocurrency in a holistic viewpoint, right? So I'm excited to be here. Thanks, Brad.
Awesome, man. You're welcome. So it sounded like you got a pretty good start in crypto at a young age. How did you learn about crypto? How did you get started originally?
So my senior year of high school, which was in 2016, I was my first introduction to Bitcoin. I actually didn't. It's kind of like a stereotypical way to get into Bitcoin was the fake ID type of stuff. But I mean, that's kind of like how a lot of people got introduced to it, especially at a young age. And that was my first introduction. I really didn't invest too much until I didn't invest too much until I started doing, especially at a young age. And that was my first introduction. I really didn't invest too much until I didn't invest too much until I started doing.
Excuse me one second. I don't know what just popped on here. Let me. What?
No problem.
There we go. You should be good.
All right. A cool deal. All right. So I basically did not invest too much until the 2017 parabolic run. And that's kind of where I put it all on the line. And sounds like a similar scenario to you. It didn't go too well, but I saw the revolutionary aspect of crypto and I stayed with it throughout 2018 and 2019 and kept on grinding out research along with investing pretty much every penny to my name, along with maybe some extra, but more money than I had to my name. But yeah, so that's my story, and yeah, that's
awesome,
what
man.
I am. You know.
And you started your YouTube channel about a year ago?
Just about a year ago, yes, sir.
Okay. And that's called Dingle Crypto, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. And there should be links in the description for those of you guys that want to go check out this channel. I've watched several of his videos at this point, and man, he's got a lot of exciting information. He just put out a video on some airdrops, 15 airdrops that could be upcoming. He's also got a DeFi video where I believe he shares five DeFi projects that you think are exciting and are worthy of looking into?
Yeah, 100%. DeFi projects that not necessarily are good tokens to buy, but definitely good projects to look at and to know about. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So it sounds like you're an expert in DeFi in a way at this sense. I've branched out into it and have used it some. It sounds like you really are into maybe more of a conservative model of it than I am. And I've never really, I haven't experienced that a ton yet. So like I use Pancake Swap. And I do some different things, providing, liquidity where I'm getting a pretty high rate of return, but there's high risk. It sounds like you're pretty good at mitigating your risk and maybe getting closer to what, 10, 15, 20% on your money?
Yeah, you can. I mean, it's basically all your preference, your risk tolerance level. And at the end of the day, you just got to mitigate risk through less ignorance and more education. Obviously, there's just systemic risks that you take on no matter what in terms of smart contract risk and the age of the protocol for like the application. If it's a young application and the developers aren't really they're not too experienced, right? They probably will make mistakes. They will maybe have one or two exploits. And then hopefully you don't get caught up in those and maybe stay away from those until that protocol matures. But once you get a protocol that matured, such as Aave, Compound, and like all these Alpha Finance, Sushi, I mean, there's a bunch of like a year and a half, 2 year old protocols out there that kind of went through the immature stage. And now you can feel pretty comfortable using them and not worrying too much about it.
And what kind of return on your investment do those types of solid protocols usually return?
So, I mean, you definitely, so on Ethereum, you probably could get, so it's different. So you can do an LP pool with stable coins in Ethereum, and you definitely could get up to 50-60% on that. But if you just want to earn yield on your Ethereum, it's probably 15 to 20%.
Okay.
You can get, yeah.
That's still an amazing rate of return.
Yeah, I don't know how long it will last, but I do think DeFi is definitely in a bear market. It most certainly will go down, but DeFi can adapt and can produce yield very quickly in different methods because, I mean, it's so parabolic in innovation. Like they will just change on a dime and figure stuff out 100%.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So part of the reason for this video is because of your airdrop video. That's how I found you and was super impressed and wanted to have you on the show. So what do you have to say about airdrops? I don't know if you participated in the DYDX airdrop, but I actually I made $27,000 in that DYDX airdrop. I got kind of lucky when it first launched and they did the airdrop. I didn't think I'd done enough to receive it. And the computer that I was on didn't have a VPN set up. So when I went to, connect to DYDX, it didn't show any tokens. So I kind of forgot about it for a week or two. And then I remembered, hey, when I originally linked up to DYDX, it was on a different computer. I went to that computer, set up my VPN, got on DYDX, and lo and behold, there was 1,163 tokens there worth about $27,000. And that got me excited about looking into these airdrops. And then I saw a little bit of information on the Optimism.io.
Yeah.
And that's actually how I found you. I Googled Optimism.io airdrop, and then your video popped into the suggested videos, and I watched that. And so anyways, why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about airdrops and, why you're excited about them and how they should maybe think about, how much in fees that they should be willing to spend and that kind of stuff, just your general view on airdrops.
Well, airdrops are a great way to maybe take a low risk gamble, so I mean, if you don't have a ton of money in crypto and you kind of want to spread your net wide and maybe hit one or two large airdrops and then have that as your initial start to crypto, right? Maybe that's another viewpoint you could go. And I mean, you really, so since now we're getting side chains such as Polygon and Phantom and Avalanche and Optimism and Arbitrum, that's relatively low gas fees. So really there's a lot of protocols out there that do not have a token, and the best way to bootstrap their protocol, and honestly the best way to distribute tokens if they want tokens, is an airdrop. So I don't see any project not make a token at some point in time, because it's definitely the best way to bootstrap along with create value on your protocol. So every project that does not have a token yet, it's a good bet. It's a good bet.
Great. I'm going to link that video in the description, but just off the top of your head, out of those 15 that you talked about in your video, what are your top 2 or 3 or 4 that you really recommend people go get done immediately?
So I believe I said Optimism. I think Optimism will most certainly have one. Obviously, I don't know. And at the end of the day, I personally don't know what's going to happen. And also what you can do is you can do it with multiple wallets. Make sure you use a VPN, because I did DYDX. I used DYDX. I have a video about a year old that said I used DYDX with 10 different wallets, but my VPN, and I'm from the United States, so I didn't get any of it. And I mean, it probably would have been similar to yours, if not probably more, since I did more wallets. And but yeah, so I would basically Optimism, and then OPYN is one that I think will have an airdrop. They will probably airdrop both to OPYN users along with Ribbon Finance users. So if you use Ribbon Finance, I think they will airdrop tokens to them as well. But that's just, okay. I mean, that's Ribbon Finance airdrop to OPYN users. So Ribbon Finance tokens were airdropped to OPYN users. So those are probably the top two. The rest, I think Arbitrum might airdrop too. I don't see why Arbitrum wouldn't. But
okay,
I mean, if you go to DeFiLlama.com, they have an airdrop tab where it shows you all the different projects that have yet to drop a token.
DeFi Llama?
DeFi Llama, yes, sir.
Okay, I'll check that out. The OPYN, is that the one that where you basically do options?
Yep.
Okay, I got on there the other day and I couldn't figure out how to buy an option. I was having trouble with it, so I don't know. I mean, maybe I need to search a video. Do you have any videos that go through that process?
Yeah, so I have a couple videos on OPYN. I'm almost positive that if OPYN does an airdrop, they will airdrop it also to Ribbon, not Ribbon holders, but Ribbon users. And Ribbon has an automated vault strategy for options that uses OPYN on their back end. So I'm almost positive, and that's easier to do, is you just deposit crypto into that vault, and that's a lot easier to do than writing options and buying calls and puts and whatever. So
awesome. Okay, fantastic. So what else is on your mind? I know that you've got a lot of stuff going on. You got a business to run. You're in the National Guard. A lot of my viewers, I have a pretty good mix, because when I started this channel a few months ago, I've invited a lot of my friends and family and people that I care about that really weren't very experienced in the crypto world. And then I definitely have, because of my 4 years of experience, I've got some people that do have a lot of experience, but maybe speak to the beginners for a minute or two about, what their thought process should be like when they're first getting started, the importance of having a plan and not just kind of shooting from the hip.
Yeah. So getting started, you should expect to lose money. Like people in the United States, like young people in the United States, are willing to spend $100,000 on education, but then they look at $1,000 investment into crypto as extremely, extremely risky. But yet they spend $100,000 on education. If you look at that $1,000 you put into crypto as education, this is your start to learn about crypto. You put money in, and now you're paying attention to it because you got money on the line. So that's what happens. You put money into something, you pay attention to it. So that's a good start. Look at it as education. And maybe if you just play around with some protocols, get on Polygon. And I have videos to how to do all this stuff. So how to use Polygon for starters, how to use Phantom. I don't have one for Avalanche or Arbitrum yet, but I might just do a video on those. But really get on those networks, cheap gas, so you can move money for pennies, basically, maybe dollars. And then you can go ahead and play around in those ecosystems. There's play to earn games. There's DeFi. It's a lot of fun. And then you can expose yourself to airdrops as well. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So maybe start off on Coinbase, it seems like, is the easiest way to maybe get some initial funds into the market.
Yeah.
And then figure out MetaMask and
100%.
Uniswap. Okay.
Yeah. Just look at it as your initiation to crypto, and then also have a long time horizon, longer time horizon than a year. Have a 2, 3, 4, 5 years. 5 years preferable,
Right. How important and how valuable do you think it is to join a Telegram like your Telegram, to be around like-minded people and to be able to ask questions when you have trouble and that kind of stuff?
That's a good question. Personally, I just tuned in over the 4 years. I just tuned into certain YouTube channels. I didn't partake in too much Discord, but it's the only times I use Discord is when I'm using a protocol and I don't understand it. I go to their specific Discord and ask questions. But for some people, I could certainly see how it's helpful. My community is always asking questions and we're helping each other out. So I can definitely see how it's helpful. Telegram, Discord, Twitter. I think Twitter is probably one of the most useful social media apps out there in terms of just learning from a fire hose. You'd follow the smartest people in the world in crypto, and you're just learning from them every single day. It's absolutely fantastic.
Awesome, man. I definitely agree with that. So what are some of your favorite YouTubers, people that you really like to get some information from?
Chico Crypto. I mean, Chico Crypto, I've been watching for a long time. I mean, he's definitely one of the best out there. And I mean, just for news, like Crypto Lark, Altcoin Daily. I mean, those are good for news, right? You're not going to like learn a significant amount, but it's good for updates. But other than that, just Chico Crypto is great. And that's pretty much the only channels I really watch.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I really like Chico too. I've been watching him all the way since his, uh,
Yeah. Well,
crypto and a cold one.
yep, and then his long hair where he grew out his hair for
Right?
like 2 years or something crazy. I mean, that's
Yeah,
nuts.
man, it's amazing to see the progress. One of the things I love about Chico is I think he realized at some point in time that crypto and a cold one wasn't he wasn't getting any sponsorships. He wasn't getting any people coming to him, that wanted him to, be, promoting their brand because of that. So he cleaned up a bunch, over the last couple of years, and his channel has taken off. Yeah, so I definitely watch him. That was originally how I heard about the optimism.
Yeah.
And then part of the reason that I did my video is I just wanted to go into a little bit deeper dive. Chico shows you how to connect the wallet. But there's a few little things that he forgot to mention, like it takes a week to withdraw your money back out to your
Yeah.
wallet, and a few things. So in my video that I just published last night, I kind of do a deep dive, step by step, all of the way through depositing and withdrawing and that
Smart.
kind of thing in my video. But yeah, Chico was the reason that I even came across this airdrop. Have you ever
Yeah.
heard of Leo Trades?
Yeah,
Bud
I've heard of
TV?
him. I've never watched him much though.
Okay. He's one that does some amazing stuff. And if you like NFTs, I think he is amazing when it comes to
Right.
NFTs. Have you ventured out into the NFT world at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I do have quite a bit, like pretty large portfolio of NFTs, but I'm not super interested in gaming. Like it's not my forte. I mean, kind of like supply chain blockchains. I mean, that's like VeChain and stuff. I'm not super interested in that stuff. And I'm not, I mean, same with gaming. Like it's a lot of people I know are interested in that stuff, but personally, I'm not interested. I'm interested in the like cross section between NFTs and DeFi. Like there's going to be a huge intersection there, and I'm excited to see what happens with that. So
Awesome. Are there any tokens that are already out in that niche that you like?
well, there is protocols where you can use your NFT as collateral, and there's like L. So I think one thing that DeFi is going to solve for NFTs is the liquidity issue. I mean, NFTs, a lot of projects are super illiquid, and I think DeFi is definitely going to solve that issue for most projects, unless it's absolutely dead. There's no volume, it probably won't solve the problem. But if there's a little bit of volume, probably can solve the problem. So.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So how do you talked about the Polygon network? Is that a token that you think is maybe due for a pump? I've been kind of watching it and wondering when it's going to do its Avalanche or Solana moment. Is that a token that you think should be on people's radar?
I use Polygon all the time. I use pretty much every chain, more or less. Obviously, there's a lot of chains out there, but I mean, I love Polygon, and I think it will do well. I don't know exactly what's going to happen after ETH2 comes out. We'll see. I'm excited. I think there will be, the future is most certainly multi-chain. There's going to be many. The biggest competitor to Ethereum right now is probably Solana. I mean, Solana is the biggest competitor to Ethereum right now. And then there's Avalanche, Phantom, and Polygon all kind of on the same level. So that's kind of how I see it. And then there's Arbitrum and Optimism, like back. So we'll see.
Now, obviously, we're not financial advisors. We don't have crystal balls. This is all just, our opinion and stuff. But, do you kind of agree with like Chico Crypto and some of the big names in crypto that the next 2 or 3 months are going to be kind of parabolic in the crypto space?
Well, Plan B, you obviously you had to have seen that. I mean, that's absolutely nuts. And I think it's going to be like a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's my personal viewpoint. But also, I'm cautious. I do still have a lot in stable coins, and I don't plan on moving it. I mean, my long-term goal is to build a large stable coin pool to kind of live off of. That's my goal, at least. So, and then and then we'll see. So I'm just kind of building my stablecoin pool. That's over the next 3 months, no matter what happens.
Right.
Right.
Makes sense. So what are your plans for the future? You say you're in the National Guard. Is that a long-term, going to put in 20 years type of a situation, or?
Most likely not. I do enjoy it. I definitely do enjoy it. It's challenging, a lot of opportunities in terms of training and whatnot. But I probably have 4 more years left, and then I'm good to go. And then I do enjoy, so I'm in the ice cream business and I do enjoy it, but at the same time, it doesn't have the reward for time put in, such as crypto. Like crypto, you put time in, and the potential rewards are a lot. I mean, money's flowing all over crypto right now. Obviously, it might not stay that way, or it might. I don't know. So, but it's fun. Ice cream is fun. I mean, I do corporate events and whatnot. It's pretty lucrative, and it's a good thing to do, and it's seasonal, so there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So I'd probably do that for a couple more years and maybe continue if I enjoy it, and then maybe just go full-time crypto. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see.
Awesome, man. One of my favorite sayings, and I can't remember exactly which famous person this quote is from. It was like an Abraham Lincoln or a Thomas Jefferson or something like that. But the quote goes something along the lines of, if I had 5 hours to chop down a tree with an axe, I would spend 4 hours sharpening the axe and 1 hour chopping down the tree. In other words, it's important to work on ourselves. And I can't imagine, I'm just guessing here, we didn't talk about it, but I'm assuming with your mentality, your entrepreneurship, and just your thoughts, I'm assuming you've read a few personal development books and listened to some personal development stuff. Is that a good guess, or am I way off track?
Podcasts, definitely podcasts. I enjoy the likes of Jocko and David Goggins and all these very high intensity people that really go after life. But at the same time, I think they might go a little too hard. I don't know.
Right. I agree. Sometimes that's true, but so what would you say to new people that are watching this, that are scared, that, they're watching all of the mainstream news, China bans Bitcoin and this and that, all of that stuff that we know is not true, for the most part, that it's just manipulation, trying to keep the prices down, but what would you say to people that are watching now that haven't ever invested into crypto, and they're like, they wanna, but they don't wanna, they're excited, but they're scared, what would you recommend to them, and to get past that, and to go ahead and get them to dive into the deep end?
Yeah, so risk, I definitely think people are too afraid of risk, for sure. I think like a synonym for risk is kind of opportunities, right? I mean, they're kind of two in the same a little bit. So, I mean, if you're young, if you're under 25, you can afford to be very, very risky. Diversification is kind of for sustaining wealth. You do not create wealth by diversification, in my opinion. I don't even know any super wealthy individual that diversified their time or wealth to get where they are. I mean, either they concentrated their time or concentrated their wealth in one sector, and that is how they got to where they got. So, I mean, at the end of the day, don't be afraid of risk and just not diversifying your time or money,
Makes sense. And do you also agree? A lot of people think that going to, getting a good education, getting a good job, and working real hard for 40 years is not risky. But I've found in my life that that's extremely risky, and that people actually, are thinking that they think that things that are safe, and they're really not, are risky. And then like crypto that they think is super risky really isn't.
100%. I mean, that's the case for a lot of my friends. I mean, all of them are rushing to get good career jobs, which is fine. I mean, I definitely do think people have different ideas of how their life is supposed to go. A lot of people don't enjoy not knowing where the next paycheck's coming from, or not. They don't enjoy it, right? They don't. So they want security. They value security. If you value that, go get a career. I mean, a career is not too bad. There's a lot of careers out there that are great, fulfilling stuff. So, I mean, everybody's different, but for me personally, I don't like getting told what to do for the most part. I mean, I definitely respect individuals' opinions and I consider them, but then I definitely put my own spin onto that and do my own thing. So yeah, I mean, depending on what type of person you are, I mean, don't be afraid of risk and like believe in yourself. Basically, that's all I'm saying. Believe in your decision-making skills. You know,
Right?
yeah.
Makes sense. What do you think of this? Some of my business mentors say you make a living from 9 to 5, you make your fortune from 5 till bedtime. And I think you and I kind of both did that. I worked for several years of my crypto journey. You're still working and have your ice cream business. So it sounds like you would probably agree with that. So that's when I talk to people that have good careers and they're not ready to just quit their jobs, I just tell them, hey, that's fine. You don't got to quit your job. Just take a couple of hours off from Grey's Anatomy. Quit watching, Netflix 6 hours a day and put a couple hours of that into something, some type of side hustle, crypto or something like that, and build your fortune in those extra hours. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. And one thing that I tell my friends, and like basically having a job, there's like linear progression, like you slowly go up in the ladder of your career and then retire. Like if you start a business, it's exponential. Like if you just got to start, right? You just got to start, and then eventually you'll get to like a exit velocity, and then you go parabolic, whether that is on YouTube, whether that is with crypto in terms of starting off, and then eventually you start making a lot of money, essentially, depending on what you do via yield, or even just like my ice cream business. It takes a long time to build that foundation, maybe 3, 4, 5 years. And then you start making that real money, that really life-changing money. So it's either whether you want a linear career that's secure or exponential career that's not secure, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Delayed gratification, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did that just kind of come naturally to you, or did somebody, your father or somebody in your life, kind of instill that in you? Because most people, that's part of the problem. They don't want to wait 5 years for the payoff. They want it now. How did you develop that mindset of knowing that you got to put in the time and build the foundation before you reap the rewards?
Just how I was raised. I mean, it really is. My parents were that way. They taught me. They're business people as well, in accounting. My mom's an accountant. My dad's a farmer. So farmers are businessmen unlike anybody else. So,
Right.
I mean, they taught me everything I know, and that's kind of how I am now. I'm not so much on delayed gratification too much, but I mean, overall, I'm significantly more than a lot of other people. Like I put basically every penny away and then live off the interest, basically, for the most part.
I love that. One of my other favorite sayings is the chief cause of failure and unhappiness is doing what you want now instead of what you want most.
Yeah.
And I'm an example of that in my health life. Like I'm pretty proud of myself in finances and my relationships and with my relationship with God and that kind of stuff. But I definitely have not done what I needed to do to take care of my health. And that's actually something that I'm really working on now. I'm 48. I have this financial freedom. I've got, 2 teenage kids, and I want to be around, God willing, until I'm 70 or 80 or 90 years old. So even in my case, that I've, instead of doing what I want most, which is being thinner and athletic and healthy, I've decided to eat too many double cheeseburgers and, and that kind of stuff. But
No,
in,
go ahead.
no, I was going to say, in investing, though, one of the neat things about crypto is there is a little bit of delayed gratification. But one of the things that's exciting about crypto is you don't have to spend 20 or 30 years investing like you do in the stock market to maybe be free. What did you say in one of your videos recently? Is it 6 years that you're saying?
I think
Maximum?
you probably over 5 years, you probably have to invest somewhere between $50,000 and $100,000 of your own money, right? And then in 5 to 6 years, depending on the market, obviously, you probably could be relatively well off, earning probably $100-$200 a day. making probably $100K a year off your passive income in crypto. Right.
Not to mention, there's a pretty good chance that $50,000 or $100,000 is probably turned into 400,000 or 500,000, maybe even $1 million or $2 million as far as capital gains. Would you agree?
100%. And I mean, we'll see what happens with capital gains. Obviously, I think tax season might actually be the halt to this bull run. I don't know. Tax season's got me there as a young individual that I don't necessarily know taxes very well. That's my one like Achilles heel is taxes. Okay. Like that's something I definitely have to work on is understanding taxes. And like the Pandora Papers is nuts. If you heard about the Pandora Papers that just came out.
I haven't.
It was just basically a journal. It was just an investigation on how the rich and elite like basically hide their money from taxes. And this is just a news report that came out recently that people were talking about. But I mean, that's definitely one area where I got to strengthen up a little bit and strategize my whole year around specifically, because last year it was sad to see what I had to pay. And I was like, it was my first year that I was like, damn, this stinks, man.
Yeah. That's actually a really good topic that you brought up. A lot of people, are worried about that. And so one of the reasons, Joshua and I talked before we went on this live stream, and we both buy and hold. And I think that one of the important things about that strategy, not only does it give your investments time to mature, like he just mentioned these protocols that he uses for DeFi and how it took him a year or two to really mature and be someplace that he trusts to park his money. Well, it also takes, some time for your assets to mature, and you avoid a lot of tax liability by just buying and holding versus trying to trade in and out of the market. So that's one tip that I think we would both agree upon is just buy it and hold it. The other thing, have you used anything like Nexo or Celsius to collateralize a loan?
Yeah, I do that all the time. That's basically, so I basically just take my long-term holds, wrap Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, and so on and so forth. And I use Aave.
Okay.
Aave, yeah, which is just basically a DeFi protocol is similar to Celsius or Nexos or whatnot.
Awesome. Yeah, that's definitely one strategy that the rich use. Rather than selling assets, they borrow against them. And I don't know if my viewers know this, but when you borrow money against an asset, like say you put $100,000 in Nexo or Aave, and then you take out, say, a $50,000 loan in USDC, that is not a taxable transaction. In fact, the interest that you pay on that loan is actually deductible off of your income. So that's kind of one of my long-term strategies. You have to be a little bit careful about not over leveraging yourself and putting yourself in a spot where you get liquidated. But that's another great way to avoid some taxes, or not really avoid taxes, but just to legally shelter yourself from the tax liability that would come if you just sold that $200,000 worth of assets.
Yeah, I completely agree. And that's what I do leveraging responsibly is what everybody does. And that's everybody in real life. Most people leverage responsibly, so, it's just a good way to increase the future potential, of your assets.
Right? Yeah. Absolutely. It feels like you've learned this lesson well, but there's a lot of people out there that probably don't understand leverage. And I'm glad that you brought that up. I actually have a good friend of mine, James Taylor, that I think was watching this for a little while. I don't know if he's still on, but he's kind of one of my business coaches and business mentors. And he got involved in crypto just a few months ago. He was kind of resistant to it too. I've been talking to him about it for a couple of years, but he just jumped in earlier this year. But one of the things that he is very adamant about is everything that he does in life, if there's not leverage behind it, he doesn't want to do it. So he owns a business that there's leverage behind. And with his crypto, he's always searching for that, that staking ROI or the farming ROI or all of that kind of stuff. And that's, so important. And, I think that's something else that people really need to educate themselves about in crypto, not only just buying, but how to actually, once you've bought it, how to leverage it.
Yeah, 100%. And it can go the opposite direction. I mean, there's horror stories out there, people leveraging too hard and go. I mean, and actually, there's a lot of decentralized exchanges such as DYDX where you can get liquidated easily. And then there's a lot of them out there where you can go 20, 30x. I think DYDX is only 5x, but in leverage.
Right.
I
Right.
think.
Okay. That makes sense. What I meant by leverage was more of creating passive income.
Right.
So in other
Okay.
words,
I see.
doing something once, but then having it pay you over the long term. So I'm
Got
not
it.
talking, yeah. So not going on. Yeah, I definitely don't recommend going out and trading leveraged. But I think it's important once you own the asset to put it to work for you and
Right.
have it spitting off passive income.
Right. Yeah, and that's basically what my whole channel is based around, is just finding those protocols that are earning high yield that don't have there's a lot of variables that can decrease your yield, like inflation of the token, etc., that you have to consider. But I personally try to find the best risk to reward ratio out there in DeFi, and that's kind of what my whole channel is based around, more or less, is DeFi, decentralized
Awesome.
finance.
Have you ever heard of band protocol?
I've never used it.
Okay. I was just wondering because that's a token that both my friend and I own, and we were
Oh
kind
yeah.
of looking. We haven't found a spot to put it where it's actually earning us or creating any ROI for us. So I thought maybe you might know, but we'll
No.
have to just keep checking into it.
No, I haven't. Is that an ERC20? That's not an ERC20 token, is it? Is it on
Well,
Ethereum?
you can buy it on Coinbase as an ERC20 token, but then I
Oh,
was looking into it, and I guess they have like a native token, so you have to send the ERC20 to a spot, and then that turns it into the native token. Then once you have the native token, I guess there's some
is
stuff that you can then do with it to
is
earn some
band
passive.
yeah, is band similar to Chainlink in
Yes,
like the Oracle blockchain, is it?
yes,
Okay. Yeah, I mean I'm familiar with it. I just don't know anywhere to. I mean, I'm sure you can
okay.
stake it, but
Yeah, we'll
I
figure it out.
about it.
Right. Well, hey man, I want to respect your time. We've been on for almost 40 minutes. Do you have anything else that's important that's on your mind that you would like to share with the viewers before we take off and and head out on our day? Or
No, well, not specifically. I definitely appreciate you having me on, Brad. This was a lot of fun. Enjoyed your insights. I mean, this was a lot of fun. This is my first like podcasting, whatever you want to call this. This is great. I enjoyed it a lot. Um, no, I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, I hope we can do it again sometime.
man, absolutely. I enjoyed it a lot too, and I'm really glad that we got an opportunity to do it. The neat thing about crypto, kind of like a lot of things, is you can meet some amazing people in crypto, but there's also a lot of crummy people out there, the scammers and people that just only care about themselves. And I don't know how you do it exactly, but like me, I could just tell in watching your videos and the way that you explained it to people, the disclaimers that you put in there, it's just obvious that you care about people and that you're doing this to help people, that you're not just in it for yourself. And that's what attracted me to you. And and that's why I invited you on the channel. And I think you've definitely proven that. I'm hoping, those of you that are watching this video live and the ones that come and watch it after I've uploaded it, please go check out this young man's YouTube channel. It's called Dingle Crypto. It's right there under his name. The link to it is going to be in the description. I've also got links to his Twitter and his personal Twitter and his crypto Twitter. So go give this guy a subscribe to his channel and check out some of his videos. And one last thing before we go, why don't you tell a little bit, if you want to, a little bit about Dingle Crypto and how people can become part of your private Discord group?
Yeah, so we basically rally.io is a creator platform that creators can create their own token to kind of make it incentivize their community. And we do have a Dingle token on there. It's on rally.io. Just look it up. And it's Dingle token. You just need 5 Dingle tokens. And then you can join the private Discord. And also there's community rewards on Rally. And actually we've basically given back to the community about $150,000 in community rewards. So
Nice.
most of the people in the private Discord has actually made money. So it's actually a good win-win-win. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's always available.
Yeah, man, I love that. Have you ever thought about creating a more, like a more mainstream, bigger cryptocurrency? You know,
Like just a project, like a
yeah,
DeFi
like,
protocol or something of that
or
sort,
yeah,
or just
any
yeah. I'm not necessarily. I mean, I'm not super interested. I would love to be part of a team, such like on a DAO. I would love to work for a DAO, but at the same time, I'm just doing what I want. I just want to do. So I mean, I would love to. If I got offered, I might take it if I like the project, but I'm not in a rush to do that. No.
Okay. One last thing real quick, actually, before we go, is any of the people that are live with us right now, if you have any questions, I'll put Joshua here on the spot, but I'm sure he'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. So if any of you here in the chat have any specific questions that you'd like to ask of Joshua, throw them in the comment section now. If there's nobody that has any questions, then we'll probably hop off here in the near future. Wanted to highlight this. James Strickland says, good information, Dingle. DeFi Llama is a great starting point for airdrop. So appreciate you sharing that with us. And I'll make sure that gets put into the description of this video. He also says, and I agree with this in some ways, although I think some people are going to get lucky. If they jump in now, they're probably going to get lucky in a way. But he says, in crypto, you need to put 3 to 4 years in before you learn enough to make and keep those gains. Here he is, my buddy James Taylor. Leverage responsibly. So he's the one that doesn't do anything without leverage. Everything that he's doing. In fact, I was talking to him yesterday about maybe doing some one-on-one, like personal consulting. And the first thing he said is, how are you going to scale that? How are you going to leverage it? Like, yeah, you might be able to charge $250 an hour, $100 an hour, whatever, some pretty good money. But how do you leverage it? You're right back to trading time for dollars, which is exactly what we're trying to avoid in crypto. So he kind of steered me away from that. So it doesn't look like we got any questions, Joshua. So I will let you get on with your day. But once again, man, thank you so much for being here. And yeah, man, let's do this again soon.
100%. Thanks, Brad. And Infinite
You're
Crypto.
welcome, man. You betcha.
Bye.
Take care. God bless.
You too. Bye-bye.